by himself. He should have brought backup.
This nigga bugging. Take his phone too. I'm about to sell that shit.
All that door.
Oh, I hear more cars.
I know. What the hell?
Yo,
That's crazy.
this nigga bugging.
Yo. Come on, I'll be back.
Yeah. What's up with this nigga, bro? My guy really bugging, bro.
Yes?
Let's see what really happened.
There's only one cop.
Oh shit, I can't
I don't know what he's gonna do. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, thank you.
Oh! He fucking punched him.
Let's see that in an instant replay.
Yeah. Alright, thank you.
Oh! He fucking punched him. Oh, yo, what the fuck? This nigga punch. Get that nigga. Get that nigga. Oh!
Oh, shit. What the?
Yo, nigga got. Oh! Fuck that nigga.
Why only came by himself? He should have brought backup.
This nigga bugging. Take his phone too. I'm about to sell that shit.
All that door.
Attacking at least 4 people with a hammer. There was a struggle in the middle of a busy Midtown street after police say the man attacked one of the police officers. CBS 2's Hazel Sanchez has new information.
Police surveillance video shows veteran police officers Lauren O'Rourke and her partner Officer Geraldo Casain as they approach suspect David Burrill on West 37th Street and 8th Avenue. Burrill charges a 27-year-old O'Rourke with a hammer, striking her 3 times.
Officers backtracking into the middle of 37th and 8th. Her partner, the male officer, sees her struggling, and he fires his weapon 4 times.
Officer Casain shot Burrill in the torso, right arm, and head, bringing the Midtown morning commute to a halt. Witnesses walking nearby were stunned.
As I was crossing the street, I heard about 3 gunshots.
In the middle of Midtown in the morning, that's crazy. It was just frightening for a minute,
Police had been searching for 30-year-old Burrill since Monday after they say he attacked 4 people with a hammer, including a woman in Union Square. The surveillance video obtained exclusively by CBS 2 shows the hooded suspect approaching the woman from behind, then striking the back of her head. While on patrol this morning, officers O'Rourke and Casain recognized Burrill despite the fact that he was wearing this mask. Police recovered the hammer at the scene this morning, which they believe was used in all the attacks.
And fortunately, thank God, both officers are fine, and this individual is not going to be roaming the streets of New York attacking innocents any longer. 1
year ago, Burrill posted this drawing of a hammer dripping with blood. Police say Burrill suffers from paranoia and schizophrenia and was last living in a mental health facility. Burrill has a violent criminal record, including a 2013 arrest for assaulting a police officer. Right now, he is in critical condition at Bellevue Hospital. As for Officer O'Rourke, she is awaiting the results of a CAT scan after her head injuries, but she is expected to make a full recovery. In Midtown, Hazel Sanchez, CBS 2.
A mystery man punching a 19-year-old woman in the face. Police tonight are hoping somebody can help identify him. CBS 2's Mark Liverman live in Clinton Hill, Brooklyn with more. Mark?
Well, it all happened right here in front of this deli. That woman hit so hard in the face, her head slammed into this glass before she collapsed right onto the sidewalk. All of it caught on camera. Take a look. Out of nowhere, an unknown man winds up and throws a hard, fast fist right into 19-year-old Raza Barzdukas' face. It happened right in front of this deli on Myrtle Avenue in Clinton Hill. On Friday, I spoke exclusively to that victim's mom.
She called me. She was upset. She was crying, hyperventilating.
Raza's mom begged her to stay where she was, but she was so scared she ran to Pratt Institute, where she goes to school across the street, to wait for police.
This is not normal behavior. This was just, she was walking out of the deli and she just got sucker punched. Just didn't even see it coming. It was absolutely jarring. It was crazy.
Raza was hit so hard the back of her head smashed into the side of this deli before she collapsed to the sidewalk.
She had a fat lip, she had a bloody lip and bruising inside, and then she had a bump on the back of her head, and then she just went down.
Watch that video closely. You can clearly see the man with dreadlocks and a gray hooded sweater calmly walking up to his victim, then punching her with a closed fist before calmly walking off.
They do this to anybody. It was random. It was crazy. It was a random act of violence.
Rose says her daughter had never seen her attacker before it happened. Now, they just want this man caught.
I hope that they find this guy, because this guy is walking around the neighborhood.
Is recovering from an unprovoked attack in Manhattan that was caught on camera. It happened yesterday on West 70th Street near Central Park on the Upper West Side. The attacker walking by Moranis when he suddenly punched the 67-year-old actor in the head, knocking him to the ground. The attacker then casually walked away. This is a picture they have of the suspect. Moranis suffered injuries to his head, back, and hip, but is expected to recover. A spokesperson for the actor says he is grateful for everyone's thoughts and well wishes.
Month and a half, but there has been an arrest in the assault of actor Rick Moranis. Moranis was punched in the head while walking in New York. Turns out the suspect has allegedly struck before. This married couple told our Stephen Fabian he attacked them too.
The video was upsetting. Out of nowhere, a total stranger sucker punches Ghostbusters actor Rick Moranis as he walked on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Now there's been an arrest in last month's attack, and nobody is happier about that than this woman. Ashley Davis says she and her husband were attacked for no reason by the same suspect as they rode on the subway back in April.
I look down, the next thing I know, we're being pummeled. I mean, there's just fists hitting us. It was so shocking. I thought my husband was dying.
35-year-old Marquise Ventura has a long rap sheet, more than a dozen arrests.
I told him that this man, something's wrong. He's going to do this again. He's going to do this again.
7 months later, he allegedly did do it again.
I'm always looking over my shoulder because I don't feel safe in my city anymore. And I was born and raised here. I've never felt like that.
Random acts of violence continue to plague the
5-year-old man sucker punched on a Manhattan street. The man was walking in the East Village this morning when a teenager suddenly came up from behind and punched him. Cops releasing this video hoping someone can ID the suspect. Eyewitness News reporter Stefan Kim spoke to the victim about what happened.
85-year-old Hyman Lee describing the sucker punch that knocked him off his feet. Speaking in Cantonese in this exclusive Eyewitness News interview, Lee says he was snuffed from behind. Watch this surveillance video released by the NYPD. He never saw it coming. It doesn't look like much, but his jaw is swollen, sore, and bruised. Lee says the kids never said a word. That's right, they were just kids. Police believe between 15 to 18 years old. If you take a close look at the video, the suspect had his shirt pulled over his head when he threw that punch. So that camera did not get a good look at his face, but this one did. This is where the victim says he first noticed those 3 kids hanging out before they followed him to his front door. Lee says they followed him from 10 feet behind for half a block. It was around 6:30 this morning on East 6th Street by Avenue D. The security guard in his building lobby saw it happen, helped him up.
Shows a sucker punch attack on an NYPD officer. I want you to take a look at this here. It happened yesterday afternoon in the Fordham section of the Bronx. One officer was arresting a 27-year-old suspect for a past robbery when another man approached and struck his partner in the back of the head. The man ran off, but was caught by the officer that he punched. After a struggle, 31-year-old Nelson Jimenez was arrested and charged with assaulting a police officer and various other charges.
I'm recording this shit.
Yeah, they shot him.
Yo! What the fuck? What the fuck was that shit about? Oh shit! Holy shit! Run!
I want to know why. Why would he pick me of all people?
Heart-stopping video shows the moment 88-year-old Mary Rakowski, a defenseless grandmother, as she was hit in the face by a stranger as she was leaving a busy H-E-B.
I can't understand why anybody would hurt another person, especially an elderly person.
Mary says she does not know this man and they did not exchange words. The grandmother in the video is seen falling to the ground as those nearby freeze and then come walking over. The woman's daughter, she was walking several steps in front of her mom, but then turns around and immediately to help.
The shocking attack was caught on camera. The woman fell and hit her head on a fire hydrant. Eyewitness News reporter Derek Waller spoke to the victim and joins us from Gramercy Park. Derek, that is disturbing video.
Very disturbing, Joe. Yes, we spoke with a woman inside her apartment here off of 3rd Avenue earlier this morning, and then upon news of that arrest, I actually called her back and spoke with her for a few minutes. She said she was relieved to hear that someone had been arrested. That arrest happening after a police officer in East Harlem saw that surveillance video and recognized the suspect. Take a look one more time at that video. Police just telling us in the last hour, the man in that video, a 31-year-old man seen knocking over a 92-year-old woman, is now in custody, but listen to this. He has more than 100 prior arrests. He's 31, spotted this morning in East Harlem. Detectives were on the scene here in Gramercy this morning. The incident happened Friday around 3:30 in the afternoon here on 3rd Avenue near East 16th Street. The 92-year-old retired school teacher was on her way to the drugstore. We spoke this morning. We blurred her face to protect her identity.
I thought it was a brick or something like that. It hit me on the right scalp, on the right side of my head, of course, and then fell down on the street. I'm frightened to tears. I'm not going to walk there on my own. And that's very upsetting. That's very upsetting.
And so a few minutes on the phone, she did tell me that now that someone has been arrested, perhaps she can leave her house again.
Riders getting pushed onto tracks and sucker punched. Multiple separate incidents have occurred this week.
And now one of the victims is telling us his terrifying story. CBS 2's Dave Carlin reports from the Upper West Side.
It happened so fast. Alex Weissman of the Upper West Side was punched by a stranger twice in the head as he stepped off a B train onto the platform of the 103rd Street station Tuesday afternoon. I took about 2-3 steps off the car, and then I was attacked, hit about twice. I fell down to the ground. Weissman, an actor with Broadway and television credits, shared these photos of his injuries on social media. After multiple surgeries for fractures, doctors are using lasers on the torn retina of his right eye. We're just really trying to avoid like a more invasive procedure since I'm an actor and I need my face. Bloodied and barely able to move, Weissman managed to quickly leave the station. He got back onto the same train, traveling one stop to 96th Street. I was able to get back onto the same car. It was at 96th Street, 2 women he didn't know initially took care of him and alerted officers. He praises them and paramedics and his medical team. They're working under really extreme circumstances right now, and they've all been my heroes, and if I could just take this opportunity to celebrate them, I want to. And he vows to keep taking the subway. I'm not going to let this make me...
Relatives of victim Patrick Gorman, the 64-year-old Queens resident, blindsided by a random and deadly closed fist to the skull. The cavalier perpetrators leaving him there to die.
Pat was not the type of person to hurt a fly. So to see that was... Nobody deserves to be treated like that.
Gentle, loving man.
Yes. Yep. He was my godfather. He was the best man I knew.
It was June 26th, the corner of Queens Boulevard and Main Street. Gorman did what he always did Sunday afternoons in the summer, traveled to a Major League Baseball game.
My uncle would go away to baseball games. He would always make sure he found a church to go to Sunday Mass.
The deeply religious man, a member of Our Lady Queen of Martyrs in Forest Hills, had just returned from a Baltimore Orioles game when sucker punched as he approached his apartment building. Gorman, beloved at the Lighthouse Guild for the Blind in Manhattan, where he worked for 25 years. His colleagues and New York Mets friends all came to his funeral.
To see a man's life end so unexpectedly for no reason is just heartbreaking.
NYPD cameras recorded it all and are asking the public to help identify the male black.
New this morning, the search is on for a woman police say sucker punched a 72-year-old on the Lower East Side. The victim was hit so hard she fell to the ground. CBS 2's Mark Liverman joins us live from the scene with more on the suspect. Mark?
Yes, Cindy and Andrea, it happened right here in front of Russ and daughters. Police are still looking for that suspect. Here's how it all played out. Watch closely. You can see the victim in the purple jacket walking down East Houston Street between Orchard and Allen Street. That is when, out of nowhere, the suspect sticks out her arm and punches the 72-year-old victim in the head. She falls straight onto the sidewalk, and the suspect turns around for a second, but then just keeps walking. It happened Tuesday just before 6 in the evening.
All right, this is what happened in the Bronx a couple of days ago. They arrested a guy on the ground. Now check out my man with the mask on to the middle, move to the middle. Now he moving to the right. Watch what he does to this cop here. Bam, 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 bam. Cop so scared he pulls out his taser instead of his gun. Meanwhile, my man runs down the street, and there you have it, folks. Coward on the loose.
They beating up this woman. Look at this. Look at this. Hey, y'all, stop me. That's Brandy, girl. Hey, y'all. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, y'all. Oh, my God. Hey, I didn't even know that was y'all. Hey, y'all. Oh, my God. Hey,
Look at that little kid.
Hey, y'all. Oh, my God. Look at this. Oh, my God. They got the kids fight with them.
Look at this. And they call me racist.